Nigerian beans for supper tonight. To accompany that, I'm actually cooking for the first time I'm going to try cooking the beans in a pressure cooker, and I'm going to be cooking them with lamb shanks. To accompany the beans, I'm making a Nigerian bread from Nigeria. The original recipe for this comes from Lagos. It's a basic, simple, sweet bread actually. So I've got 4 1/4 cups, 500 grams of flour in the bowl. There's no need to sift because you're making bread. To which I'm adding a teaspoonful of salt. It sounds like a lot, but you do need it for the bread to keep. Now this is a sweet bread, so I'm adding 1, 2, 3 tablespoons of sugar. I'm using caramel sugar here, which is a little bit darker than golden caster sugar. Now I'm adding a whole sachet of instant dried yeast. This is instant yeast, so there's no need to prove it. Just add the whole thing. I'm just going to use a knife here just to do a basic mix. So that's all the dry ingredients you need. So now the only thing you need to do now is add the wet ingredients to here. So I'll use my fingers, make a well. Now here we have the liquid ingredients. This is a mix of half a cup, 120 to 100, half a cup plus 1 tablespoon, so 140 mils of water, half a cup plus 1 tablespoon of whole milk, and a 1/4 cup of oil. Now you could use melted butter. I'm using canola oil for this because it's relatively neutral. You can use olive oil, you can use whatever flavour you want. If you actually want to flavour this, because it is a sweet bread, grapeseed oil is very nice because that gives you kind of a breakfasty flavour. So I'm adding the milk, water and oil mix in here. Now you should end up with actually quite a sloppy mixture, and that's fine. For breads, especially sweet breakfast type breads, you do actually want a relatively loose dough. So I'm just going to work this with my hands until it comes together. Now the amount of liquid you need will vary depending on how dry your flour is. Now this is a basic white bread flour. It's a strong white bread flour. And I have noticed this one is actually slightly drier than other flours. So I've got some extra milk here. I'm just going to add the milk to it. And again, it's still a little dry, so we'll add the remainder of the milk. It's still not quite right, so I'm going to fetch some warm water. Now bread making is a real living process, so you have to adjust everything as you go. So a splash of water, sorry. Now it's getting closer to what I want. Now it does look a little wet, but don't worry. This is what you want for this at this stage. So now I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to flour my work surface. As this is a wet bread, you flour your work surface as you go, and as you work the dough on your work surface, you'll be incorporating more of that flour so the dough will become a little drier. Just don't let the dough become too dry. So this needs to be kneaded for about 5 minutes. What I'm doing is I'm catching air in the bread by folding it over and over. I'm turning it using my hand to twist, like that. Now if you need a workout, this is a fantastic workout. If you're a little bit stressed, it's a great way of getting rid of your aggression whilst actually making something useful. So I'll have to knead for about 5 minutes, so we'll come back when I finish kneading. And here's the bread after baking. It took just over 30 minutes to bake this loaf. It's straight out of the oven, so it's still very hot, but obviously you can see a nice brown crust on the top. I'm just going to turn this out now. I'll leave it for 10 minutes to cool before slicing, and we're going to eat this for supper tonight. So the next segment you'll see is the bread sliced and ready to be served with the food.